They chose their words carefully, but Archangel Michael noticed the shift, and that's when everything changed. They chose their words carefully. Oh, how they chose them. With smiles that didn't match the weight in their spirit, with lips that trembled not from truth, but from hidden agendas. What seemed like a normal conversation to the natural eye was anything but ordinary. It was a spiritual pivot, a divine disturbance, a moment encoded in heavenly record. There was a subtle shift, a tone, a word, a pause, and heaven took note. Archangel Michael, appointed watcher of war and warrior of sacred truth, heard the vibration of that sentence. He heard what wasn't spoken. He heard the pause after your name. He noticed the hesitation before the compliment. He saw the eye contact that dodged, the laughter that didn't reach their spirit, the honor that vanished the moment you turned your back. This moment, this shift, is not random. Heaven has marked this hour. It hath been written in the unseen chronicles of spiritual alignment and betrayal. And for those who feel it, truly feel it, you know exactly what this is. This is not suspicion. This is not sensitivity. This is spiritual signal. And if you've been unusually still lately, if your spirit has been watchful, if you've found yourself withdrawing without explanation, hear this. The atmosphere around you changed before your body caught up. And now the heavens are moving. Not everyone who smiled with you was silent in their spirit. Some of them have spoken against you, not with loud words, but with spiritual weight. They have shifted how they use your name. They've adjusted their tone when referencing your calling. They've watered down their honor. But Michael saw it. This message is not for everyone. It's not for the casual listener or the comfortable one. It's for the chosen. For those who have felt the holy discomfort. For those who have noticed the invisible tension when entering the room. For those who felt agitated for no reason, stirred in the middle of the night, or felt a strange pressure after a phone call or text. This is why. Because a divine investigation has begun. And you, beloved, are at the center of it. Not as a victim, but as the one being vindicated. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. In the next 48 hours, says Archangel Michael, you will see why that word shift mattered. You didn't imagine it. You didn't exaggerate it. You didn't overthink it. What you felt was real. And what you discerned, heaven discerned it first. There was a break in the frequency, a distortion in the harmony between you and them. And it wasn't just relational. It was spiritual. Their tone changed. Their sentence struck you dying. The warmth in their voice turned cold like marble. And while others may have dismissed it, Archangel Michael stood still at that moment and took notice. He is not just a sword-bearer of battle. He is the watcher of words. He is the divine enforcer of truth, the one dispatched when deceit tries to veil itself in polite conversation. He is the holy sentinel who guards the names of the chosen and intervenes when slander takes spiritual form. There is an urgency in the spirit. A divine timer has begun to count down. Someone's word choice betrayed their hidden heart, and it did not escape the heavens. They chose their words carefully, but Michael caught the shift in spirit behind them. It wasn't the vocabulary that triggered heaven. It was the vibration. It wasn't just what was said, it was the spirit behind it. And from that moment, the battle lines were drawn in the spirit. Understand this. This is not paranoia. This is discernment. This is spiritual warfare in its most silent, sacred form. You are not imagining this. You didn't misread the energy. Michael saw it. Michael heard it. Michael stood guard the moment they invoked your name in false tone. Let us remind you, the Word of God is not just text. It is vibration. It is weapon. It is creative force. The sacredness of speech is understood in the heavenly realms far beyond what earth dares acknowledge. Every word carries a spiritual assignment. Every tone a truth. And when someone uses your name with subtle deception, it becomes a spiritual transaction. But take heart, because the host of heaven did not remain silent. The shift in their words was not slight, it was sacred. It carried the signal of misalignment. It marked a separation that was necessary for your next elevation. When their words changed, heaven responded. Because speech in the spirit is warfare, and speech in warfare is revelation. That is why your spirit flinched when they spoke. That is why you felt tension though their sentences were polite. It was not the growl that offended. It was the grief of the spirit, the sound of separation, the weight of a hidden mockery, the murmurings behind the smile. And hear this. When a person shifts their words, they are shifting spiritual agreement. When they change how they speak your name, they are unknowingly declaring a new alignment, one heaven will not ignore. Michael, the watcher of realms, was dispatched not when they raised a hand, but when they lowered their honor. Not when they confronted you, but when they began to speak with veiled intent. This is the sacred tension that many feel now. The unrest, the watching, the sleepless hours. You have been caught in between realms, one that is ending and one that is about to begin. The divine confrontation has begun, and Michael has taken your side. Do not rush to respond. Do not defend your name in the flesh. This is not a moment for earthly retaliation. This is a moment of spiritual awareness. You are not to fight this with words. You are to stand. You are to observe. You are to witness what heaven does with what you cannot yet speak. This is not just about what was said. This is about what it activated. Your silence has become a sound in heaven. Your stillness is now strategy. And your name, yes, your name, has been placed on the watch list of angels. Locked, guarded, sealed. Invoke Archangel Michael now. Call upon him not as myth but as mandate. Declare aloud, Michael, bearer of fire, I summon your sword in your sight. Defend what I cannot see. Expose what I cannot touch. And fight where I must stay silent. And as you do, know this. Your discernment is accurate. Your intuition is anointed. Your awareness is not weakness. It is confirmation. Heaven is responding, not because of how loud they spoke, but because of how cleverly they concealed. Everything shifted when the tone shifted. Everything changed when the atmosphere broke. But it changed in your favor. Because Archangel Michael is not just a warrior, he is a witness. And beloved, heaven has witnessed it all. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. They used your name but not with honor. This is the phrase that echoes across the veil, whispered through realms, carried by wind, and sent straight to your spirit, a knowing, a chill, a silence that wouldn't leave. They said your name, yes. They brought you up in circles, in conversations, in exchanges that should have uplifted, but they used your name not with light, but with layered undertones. Passive-aggressive, cold, clipped, were laced with spiritual suggestion. It wasn't a sword, but it cut like one. And you felt it, deep in your chest, in your dreams, in your atmosphere. They didn't say it directly, but their spirit did. The tone was off. The smile didn't stretch like before. The compliment didn't carry celebration. It felt hollow, empty, calculated. And while your mind tried to rationalize it, your spirit refused to let it go. Because the shift wasn't just emotional, it was spiritual. Someone forgot to say something, but that silence screamed louder than words. That moment when they failed to mention your name in a room where you deserved to be remembered. It wasn't forgetfulness. It was spiritual avoidance. A resistance to the anointing on your life. That omission wasn't accidental, it was strategic. It wasn't about memory. It was about motive. And now, the tension lingers. The kind that makes your shoulders tighten without reason. The kind that makes your prayers feel like you're being watched. That invisible weight when you walk into a space and feel something unseen shrink back. It's not paranoia. It's presence. The dark presence that recoils at your light. A subtle energy that resents your rising. There's a mystery in all of this. Of confusion. Because these weren't enemies. These were companions. People who once prayed with you. People who once stood next to you and declared your future with fire in their eyes. But now something's off. Something missing. And no one around you seems to want to say it aloud. But Archangel Michael has. They used your name, but not with honor. They have cloaked their resistance in pleasantries, in politeness, in muted celebration. They clap, but without weight. They smile, but without soul. And behind the facade is a wounded ego, an offended spirit. Offended not by your actions, but by your calling. They feel the elevation around you even if they cannot explain it. And rather than bless it, they chose to blur it. You notice the exclusion. The moments when others were celebrated while your victories were minimized. You noticed the side eyes, the quiet unfollow, the messages that used to come, and now don't. And somewhere inside you've asked, what did I do wrong? What you did not do wrong. You simply did right, and that righteousness stirred the atmosphere. You did not betray them. You simply outgrew the energy they were comfortable in. You matured, and the vibration changed. You obeyed, and their spirit reacted. You rose and they didn't want to look up. You are not imagining this shift. It is not just emotional. It is spiritual. It is surgical. It is sacred. And it is being handled by heaven's mightiest warrior. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving us super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for more divine messages, prophetic insight, and spiritual equipping sent right to your spirit when you need it most. Type I am rising in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1414 is now live in your atmosphere. Hear this with clarity. This is not a personal fallout. This is not some messy misunderstanding. This is not just emotional distance or social fatigue. This is spiritual exposure. What happened was not your failure, it was your unveiling. This is how the Spirit frames it. Elevation always exposes. Light always irritates the shadows. And when your spirit began to shine in new dimensions, those not called to carry that light began to recoil. They didn't just pull back, they spiritually retracted. And their words followed suit. The change in their tone was heaven's signal, a confirmation that the alignment has broken. They did not betray you because you were wrong. They backed away because your anointing was right. And beloved, You must stop viewing this through the eyes of wounded emotion. Look again through the lens of divine discernment. The tension you feel is the proof of your transition. The friction is the cost of elevation. The dissonance is the sound of realm splitting. This is not a punishment. This is a pruning. You did not fail them, you grew beyond them. And their response is not an indictment of your character, but a reaction to your calling. They were never reacting to your personality. They were reacting to your light, to your obedience, to your spiritual growth. They felt your increase in the unseen, and instead of blessing it, they feared it. Let this be sealed in your spirit. Archangel Michael guards those who carry truth. You, the truth bearer. You, the carrier of sacred weight. You, the one chosen for kingdom elevation. Michael stands beside you, sword drawn, wings spread, not to defend your ego but to protect your destiny. This shift was not an accident. It was a heaven-triggered separation. You were not made to stay in a circle that cannot celebrate your calling. You were not built to fit inside spaces that shrink at the sound of your voice. You are not assigned to those who grow cold when your name is spoken in favor. The war you're feeling is a war over your next level. And their reaction, your silence, their tone, it is the evidence that heaven is doing something. They cannot stop. So let the exposure come. Let the words shift. Let the connections fade. You are not losing stability. You are gaining revelation. And what is revealed now will not be able to follow you into the next dimension. They chose their words carefully. But God chose you. Type "I am chosen" for this in the comments if you feel the confirmation. Blessing code 2244 is now protecting your path. What was whispered is about to be shouted. There is no hiding from heaven. There is no secret counsel that remains sealed when the righteous are involved. When your name is used in manipulation, in misrepresentation, in misalignment, heaven responds. And now, the divine response is unfolding, slowly to man, but suddenly in the spirit. A blood has formed, and it didn't begin with confrontation. It began with suggestion. It started as a whisper, a tone, a comment that sounded small but carried large consequence. They didn't come for your life. They came for your reputation. They didn't stab you with accusation. They poisoned perception. But the thing about poison is that even if it's silent, heaven smells it. Even if it's invisible, Michael sees it. And even if it's slow, it won't go unpunished. The Spirit of the Lord says this: within 3 days, within 72 hours, or before the next sunrise, there will be a shift, an unveiling, a moment when the shadows give way to light. The whisper that was meant to stay hidden will begin to echo. The manipulation that was kept between them will begin to crack open. And you will not have to defend yourself, because Michael is intercepting the plan before it spreads. Feel the pressure building, emotionally, spiritually. You sense it even when no one is speaking. You wake up with weight in your chest, dreams that unsettle, tension in your atmosphere. That's not anxiety. That's alert. That's heaven saying, watch. Stay in position. Do not act. Just be ready. There is movement in the unseen. Conversations are shifting. Allegiances are being tested. People are being forced to show their true heart. And this is why things feel confusing right now, because heaven is rearranging connections behind the scenes. And while you are watching from the natural, Archangel Michael is warring in the spirit. This is not the time to explain yourself. This is not the hour to defend your motives. You are not on trial. You are under protection. The same ones who spoke carefully in public are the ones who spoke recklessly in private. And now, heaven has placed divine surveillance on every word. The Spirit says, stay alert. The shift was a trigger. That word they released, that strange pause in conversation, that cold switch in demeanor, it wasn't random. It was spiritual GPS, marking the next coordinates for your breakthrough. The betrayal wasn't personal. It was prophetic. It activated your next elevation. But take heed. Do not let your emotions trick you into reaction. That is the trap. That is what the enemy wants. He wants you to speak when you should stay silent. He wants you to war in the flesh when heaven has already dispatched angels to fight on your behalf. But you are wiser than that. You are not led by pain. You are led by prophecy. The 3-day clock has started. The divine countdown is already in motion. And while they are still calculating how to reposition themselves, heaven has already secured your outcome. Do not fear the silence. Do not panic at the shift. You are not losing control. You are watching God take it back. The whispers they thought would remain between them will be amplified by heaven itself. The story they twisted will be untwisted by the Spirit. And your name, once used as currency in the realm of confusion, will be restored in honor. The shift in their words was not a glitch, it was a gate. And now that it has opened, what follows next will confirm what your spirit already knew. Type I am protected in the comments if you receive this. Blessing code 3030 is now enforcing divine covering over you. Be silent. The battle is being heard, not fought. This is the divine instruction falling upon your spirit like still rain. Hold your tongue. Anchor your heart. Withdraw from argument, from frantic explanation, from the need to prove what heaven already knows. This is not your war. This is heaven's courtroom. And Michael, with sword drawn and flame burning, is already testifying on your behalf. There is divine power in silence, sacred strength in withholding your response. Because when the righteous choose quietness, it is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is surrendered to something higher. It is alignment with the voice that speaks after the storm. And you, beloved, are now being called into the still place. Withdraw, not in fear but in focus. Pull back not for love but from war that is not yours to fight. Heaven does not need your value. It needs your vision. You are being summoned to stand still and watch the salvation of the Lord unfold. Heaven fights when you're quiet. Let that rest in your spirit. Let that become your mantra. Let that silence the temptation to reply to what was said, to fix what was miscommunicated, to engage in emotional entanglement. The more you try to fix what was broken in the spirit with earthly hands, the more tangled it becomes. But when you release it to heaven, the justice of God begins to flow like fire. You were right to pull back. You were wise to stop sharing. You were led when you lost the appetite for the space. Your intuition wasn't just inner, it was spiritual. It was the whisper of the Holy Spirit saying, step back. Something is shifting. You didn't ghost them. You guarded yourself. You didn't distance to be petty. You distanced because heaven pulled your access back. Declare this over yourself. I am seen. I am shielded. I am watched over. Say it again and again until your spirit believes it. Until your emotions catch up to your anointing. Until your silence becomes your strength. Because in this season, your stillness is your sword. Michael is guarding your name. You may feel like no one is speaking up for you, but heaven is. You may feel like you're surrounded, but angels have already formed a perimeter. You are not alone. You are not uncovered. You are not exposed. You are protected, cloaked in fire, surrounded by light. Do not break your silence prematurely. Let the fire do its work. Let the Spirit speak where you cannot. There is a holy hush that carries more authority than the loudest voice. And in that hush, heaven writes verdicts. You are being refined, not rejected. Elevated, not erased. What looks like distance is divine distinction. What feels like isolation is heavenly insulation. The walls aren't closing in. They are closing out those who can no longer go with you. Remain still. Stay hidden. Walk in silence, because the battle is echoing through the heavens, and the outcome is being sealed in your favor. Type "I am shielded" in the comments if you feel this truth. Blessing code 4141 is now activated around your household. They mistook your silence for weakness. They assumed your stillness meant surrender. They thought your retreat meant retreat forever. But what they did not understand is that your silence was not defeat. It was strategy. It was the hidden strength of the anointed. It was the sacred posture of those who know that what's coming next is greater than what was just endured. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. Not torn down, but reconstructed with glory. What looked like hesitation was really heaven working on your behalf in the invisible. And now, Archangel Michael stands beside you not simply as defender, but as revealer. For what they failed to see is what heaven had already planned. Your silence was the sound of your next season forming. They saw the pause, but they didn't perceive the power. They saw your tears, but they didn't discern your transformation. And now, heaven whispers through the veil, "Rise. Rise with wings formed in fire. Rise with strength built in sorrow. Rise with boldness clothed in light." You have been underestimated, but never overlooked by heaven. They watched you go quiet and assumed you lost your voice. But what they failed to understand is that your voice wasn't gone. It was being refined. You weren't silenced, you were sealed. And now, the seal is breaking. Not to expose pain, but to reveal power. The kind of power that cannot be explained, only felt. The kind of authority that doesn't ask permission. It moves with divine timing. This betrayal, this moment of spiritual shift, was a promotion alarm in disguise. What felt like collapse was actually a covert commissioning. What looked like abandonment was actually a throne being built. The fire you were in wasn't punishment, it was preparation. And heaven let you sit in it so the dross could burn off, so the impurities could melt away, and so your real self, the anointed self, could rise without apology. No more making yourself small so others feel safe. No more dimming your light to stay in rooms where they prefer shadows. You are rising now, unseen by many but not unfelt by any. Your presence is shifting atmospheres. Your alignment is causing spiritual tremors. And those who once whispered about you in hidden places will now watch as God confirms you in public. Let fear be replaced with faith. Let timidity be swallowed by truth. The fallouts were not failures. They were flames that revealed the unworthy. What collapsed around you was not sacred. It was seasonal. It could not stand the weight of your calling. And now that it's gone, you are lighter, stronger, faster, and clearer. Declare it with fire. I rise unseen, but not unfelt. Say it until it becomes your new identity. Say it until your cells remember who you are. You are a child of warlight and word. You are built from iron and intercession. You are formed in silence, but destined to roar. And as you rise, remember this: Michael didn't just defend you. He repositioned you. He didn't just block their words. He built your wings. And now, what once hurt you will now herald you. What once shook you will now strengthen you, and the very voices that tried to reshape your image will witness the true reflection of your glory. Type "I am empowered" in the comments if you receive this shift. Blessing code 5151 has now entered your bloodstream. This happened because of what's coming next. Make no mistake, the shift wasn't a detour. It was a doorway. The change in their tone, the veiling of their words, the retreat of their presence, all of it was orchestrated by the Spirit to prepare you for what only heaven could see. You thought you were simply being hurt, simply being abandoned, simply being misunderstood, but you were being marked. You were being distinguished. You were being pulled out of counterfeit alignment to make room for divine appointment. The shift was not about them. It was never about them. It was about your next assignment, your next dimension, your next door. They reacted to something they couldn't fully describe because what they felt wasn't emotional, it was spiritual. They felt your calling stirring. They felt your mantle stretching. They felt heaven drawing near to you. And even if they couldn't articulate it, their spirit responded with resistance. It wasn't sabotage. It was signal. A prophetic checkpoint. A red light on the timeline of heaven to pause you, reframe you, and rewire everything around you so your next move is pure, protected, and precise. The conflict was confirmation. The confusion was divine interruption. And now, what once felt like a setback is being revealed as a setup for manifestation. The Spirit of God says, this was never about their words, it was about your timing. Heaven had to wait until their true colors showed. Heaven had to let their speech betray them. Because heaven cannot promote you in contaminated environments. You were about to be released, and heaven had to clean the atmosphere first. That tone shift was holy redirection. That awkward silence in their sentence was heaven saying, no more access. That hesitation in their compliment was the sound of heaven closing the door on their role in your story. What felt like loss was a lifting. What felt like disrespect was divine distancing. And now comes the moment. A moment of release. The moment where the hidden blueprint becomes reality. The moment where the years of waiting, the nights of weeping, the days of silence, all meet the glory that was always promised. Your name, the very one they spoke with caution, has been spoken in heaven with certainty. It has been mentioned in rooms of glory. It has been echoed in the courts of angels. It has been signed on scrolls of destiny. And now, the Spirit says, your name is marked for release. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are on schedule, heaven's schedule. And the pain they caused, it is the exact measurement of the blessing being poured. For every strange tone, a new testimony. For every betrayal, a new breakthrough. For every whisper, a new wave of favor. Archangel Michael did not just notice the shift, he marked it. He sounded the alarm in the spiritual dimension. And now heaven has aligned the timing of your unveiling. You are being revealed to the right people, in the right places, with the right power. And no one who left can block it. No one who shifted can stop it. No one who spoke can silence it. The shift was necessary. The conflict was prophetic. And now, the release is unstoppable. If this message confirms what you've been sensing, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your support helps us deliver more prophetic insight and spiritual empowerment. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe to receive timely revelations, powerful teachings, and divine confirmations straight to your heart. Type "My name is marked" in the comments if this word belongs to you. Blessing code 8888 is now released over your path. Your destiny is waiting, not in the distance, not in the unreachable future, but right here, right now, in the realm of your agreement. Destiny is not a passive thing. It is not something you stumble into by chance. It is a door you must choose to walk through. And now, after the shift, after the betrayal, after the silence, after the divine investigation, it is time. Heaven is speaking over you. Your destiny demands your agreement. There is no more room for hesitation. There is no more space for shrinking. No more time for delay. The words that were spoken about you, against you, round you, they have tried to cloud the path ahead, but they cannot stop what God has already authored. The shift in the atmosphere was never just about who walked away. It was about what you needed to step into. And now the Spirit is calling you to speak life again. Speak alignment. Speak permission. Speak forward. The same mouth that once spoke "I'm confused" must now speak "I'm ready." The same lips that whispered prayers through pain must now declare purpose with power. You cannot sit in the ashes of confusion and expect the fire of destiny to fall. Heaven is waiting for your yes. Not just a passive, casual yes, but a violent, unshaken, unbreakable yes. The kind of yes that moves the ground beneath your feet. The kind of yes that frightens the spirits who tried to sabotage you. The kind of yes that activates your spiritual entourage and unlocks the scroll with your name on it. Say it now. I align. I release. I rise. That is your declaration. That is your charge. That is your awakening. You are not meant to simply observe the shift. You are meant to move with it. What good is it to discern the war if you do not step into the victory? What good is it to recognize betrayal if you do not embrace the blessing that follows it? This is not the time for reflection alone. It is the time for movement. You are crossing over, and crossing requires intention. Agreement. Was you? Heaven has spoken, but heaven will not force. You must walk. Move from thinking about your calling to living in it. Move from discussing your gift to operating in it. Move from being quieted by others' opinions to being quickened by God's promise. This is the divine movement shift. This is where you stop waiting for the room to accept you and start building the room that heaven designed for you. This is where you stop shrinking for the comfort of careful liars and start expanding for the call of your eternal purpose. You are not who they described. You are not who they distorted. You are not who they tried to reduce. You are who God said you were. And your yes today is louder than their no yesterday. This is the hour of agreement. And your destiny has ears. Speak to it. Summon it. Step into it. Say again, with power and fire, I align. I release. I rise. Type "I agree" with heaven in the comments to activate your scroll. Blessing code 6161 is now moving over your name and purpose. Behind the word shift, behind the eye rolls, behind the awkward silences and veiled compliments, there was a spirit shift. There was a transaction in the invisible. And this is the part no one tells you about. This is the holy secret most miss. While they were speaking one thing with their mouth, their spirit was signing a contract in the unseen. A spiritual trade was taking place. They gave up their honor, and heaven removed their access. They traded closeness for critique. They traded covenant for competition. And the moment their heart turned, heaven saw it as legal ground to begin repositioning you. The shift in tone wasn't just a betrayal. It was a courtroom scene in the spirit realm. And while they were maneuvering for influence or perception or power, the Spirit of God was writing a new verdict. While they plotted, angels positioned you. While you doubted yourself, heaven was securing your future. While you felt left behind, heaven was actually placing you ahead, just in stealth. This is the silent exchange. This is what was happening while you were just trying to hold it together. While you thought you were falling apart, heaven was actually separating the counterfeit from the consecrated. What they tried to twist, the narrative, the energy, the story, God is now using as testimony. Not one word they used against you will go unaccounted for. Not one moment of dishonor will go unchecked. Heaven recorded it all. Every veiled insult, every sarcastic compliment, every intentional omission of your name, every silent judgment masked as concern. It was all documented, and the books of justice are open now. There was a night, and you know this, when you almost broke, when your spirit said, "I can't do this anymore," when you looked at yourself and questioned everything. But that night, heaven held you. You didn't know it then, but angels gathered around you. Archangel Michael himself stood at your side with sword drawn and flame pulsing from wing to wing. You thought it was just insomnia. You thought it was just emotional exhaustion. But it was spiritual preservation. Heaven was trading weakness for strength, despair for clarity, silence for strategy. You were not abandoned, you were hidden. You were not ignored, you were insulated. Because the Spirit was conducting a holy exchange. What they tried to kill in you, God resurrected stronger. What they hoped would destroy your name is now the very reason heaven has highlighted you. This is not just restoration. This is restitution. This is divine repayment. What you lost in their betrayal, heaven is restoring in abundance. The honor they refused to give, God is multiplying and placing it in the mouths of strangers who will bless you without needing your history. The same mouths that tried to limit your identity have now triggered your elevation. And as they plotted in silence, heaven has moved in strategy. The shift you felt was not just them, it was God. God removing, God exchanging, God yielding, and God promoting. Say this now and say it boldly. While they plotted, heaven positioned me. Because it's true. And that truth is now being written over your life like fire on scroll. You are not where they left you. You are not what they said about you. You are exactly where heaven needs you, because you survived the silent exchange and came out refined by fire. Type I have been positioned in the comments. Blessing code 7171 is igniting heavenly positioning over your life. Justice is in motion now. And it started with your silence. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't curse them. You didn't clap back. You simply stood still. You obeyed heaven's whisper to withdraw, to stay quiet, to let the sword rest in Michael's hand, not yours. And because you did, justice is now flowing like a river with divine force. They spoke with craft. They wrapped their intent in calm tones and fake compassion. They coded their malice in compliments. He smiled while withdrawing. They used careful words. Oh yes, they were precise, but God heard clearly. The spirit behind the sentence was louder than the sentence itself. Heaven does that hears men hears. Heaven discerns intent before it detects inflection. And now, the reversal is coming. This is not vengeance born of the flesh. This is not petty retribution. This is holy reversal. This is spiritual justice. This is the weight of glory crushing the plans of deception. This is the divine routing of honor back to the one who was dishonored. This is restoration by fire, and its beginning in your life. They tried to flip the story. They tried to build a narrative that favored them and left you fragmented. But what they forgot was this: when heaven endorses a name, no lie can hold it down. No manipulation can suffocate it. No whisper can redefine it. Your name was not left unguarded. Archangel Michael has stood in divine courtrooms with it in hand, shielding it from every accusation, every smear, every attempt to distort. Now heaven's gavel is falling. Not on you, on the structure they built against you. The web of confusion, the alliances of false counsel, the closed-door conversations, every layer of it is being dismantled. And one by one, the lies will unravel in front of those who believed them. Divine reversal means favors being returned. The doors that seemed sealed shut are swinging open without explanation. The places you were pushed out of are now being emptied to make room for your return. The stage you were kept from is being reset for your entrance. And the people who said, "You'll never rise," will have front row seats to your elevation, because their curses have become your crown. Their dishonor was the soil for your new authority. Their misjudgment became the tension heaven needed to stretch your voice. What they tried to suppress has now multiplied. The oil on your life was not diminished. It was distilled, concentrated, strengthened. And hear this: you will see the fruit of their deception reversed in real time, in front of eyes that once doubted you, in front of spirits that once denied you, in front of rooms that once excluded you. Not because you fought for vindication, but because heaven has already delivered it. This justice is not only yours, it is generational. The blessing coming upon you is about to shift the course of your lineage. The reversal is reaching back into ancestral pain, into generational silence, and it's writing the story with a different ink, holy ink, anointed ink, sealed by Michael himself. So breathe now. The weight is lifting. The fog is clearing. The shame is burning off. You are stepping into visibility not because of man's permission, but because of heaven's decree. You have endured the accusation. You have withstood the slander. You have passed the test. And now you rise. If this resonates in your soul, consider giving a super thanks of up to $5. Every offering is sacred, helping us bring more divine insight and messages straight to those who need them. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe. You'll receive exclusive prophetic insights, powerful activations, and fresh words straight from the throne room to your timeline. Type "I received justice" in the comments. Blessing code 9292 has now overtaken every unfair word spoken against you. The shift in tone wasn't slight. It wasn't a mood swing. It wasn't social awkwardness. It was sacred. It was holy warning. It was heaven's way of saying, "Look again. This is not what it seems." And you did. You loved. You listened. You discerned. You noticed the fracture between their words and their hearts. And when the fracture widened, when the spiritual divide grew obvious, you obeyed. You stepped back, and heaven stepped in. You were never out of God's sight. Not for one moment. Even when you questioned your own worth. Even when you second-guessed your response. Even when you were flooded with confusion and silence. Heaven watched. Heaven measured. Heaven waited, and that heaven moved. And now, as this message closes, hear what heaven declares over you. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Your ears are blessed to hear what others missed. Your spirit is sharpened to detect what others dismiss. You have been refined through betrayal, elevated through exposure, empowered through obedience. You are not the same. You are not who you were before the shift. You are marked now, with clarity, with wisdom, with a deeper knowing. This fire you walked through didn't destroy you. It defined you. And now, may peace flood your soul. May clarity strike your mind like lightning from the throne room. May the Spirit of God go before you, beside you, and behind you. You are covered in wings of fire. You are escorted by glory. You are accompanied by Archangel Michael, not just as a guard, but as a witness to your vindication. Let no word spoken against you remain rooted. Let no false impression survive. Let no lie prosper. The shift has already decided it, and the blessing has already sealed it. This is your time to walk forward, not in fear, not in fatigue, but in fullness. Fullness of truth, fullness of power, fullness of heaven's favor. Every moment has led to this. Every tear has been traded for strength. Every betrayal has made space for glory. You are not alone. You never were. Now rise. And don't look back. Type I am sent in the comments. Blessing code 7777 is now sealing your purpose in heavenly fire.